Hello guys, Sanjay here, and in this video I'm going to review Moto G4 Plus, and the variant which I'm reviewing over here is a 3GB RAM variant and not a 2GB RAM variant. So before further delay, let's get started. And this video is going to be divided into two parts. So bad points about Moto G4 Plus and the good points about Moto G4 Plus. And many times when someone asks me that do I want to hear the bad news first or the good news, I usually say that I want to hear the bad news so that the end will be good and I will go home happily. So something like that. I guess most of us do that. So I have 5 bad points and 5 good points. So as I said, let's start with the bad points over here. Roll the intro. Intro. Usually while reviewing a device, I start with the physical build quality of that device, and unfortunately bad points will also start with the build quality. I'm not saying that the build quality is very bad or something like that, but with Moto G first generation, second generation and third generation, the build quality was like going up, and with the Moto G fourth generation it's kind of going down. And not only me but many others are also unhappy about the build quality of the Moto G4 Plus, because the curved back design which was present for Moto G3, G2 and G1 is not present on the Moto G4 Plus. If the device has curved back, then it becomes a little bit comfortable to hold it in hand, which is not the case with the Moto G4 Plus. And not only curved back design, but the buttons which are present, like the power button and the volume buttons, are not that tactile and feel a little bit mushy. So that's the problem that I have. And if I had to rate the build quality of Moto G4 Plus, I would rate it 6 out of 10. So the second bad point about the Moto G4 Plus is the heating issue. And the heating issue is not just a normal issue, it's quite big issue, because the Moto G4 Plus is having Snapdragon 617, which is the future of Snapdragon 615, and Snapdragon 615 obviously had enough controversy when it was there, but Snapdragon 617 is also following the same suit, and heating issue is present over here also. If you use the device normally, like use Facebook, Twitter, or just read notes from your device for 20 to 25 minutes, or even less than that, 15 to 20 minutes, the device gets warm, and this temperature goes around 35 degrees to 40 degrees, which you can surely feel. And not only does it get warm, but it also starts to lag or stutter if you use the device heavily for 20 to 25 minutes. So if I game on the device, so my third bad point is gaming. So if you do gaming on this device for 20 to 25 minutes, the device will become extremely hot, which is kind of issue, and this problem may be fixed with a software update, but I am not completely sure about this. So the third bad point about the Moto G4 Plus is the gaming, which I talked about just now. And the fourth point that I have over here is the competition. So ZUK Z1, Redmi Note 3, Samsung Galaxy J7, LE TV LE1S, LE2, all these phones are the competition for the Moto G4 Plus, and all these phones, or you can say, they have better specs as compared to Moto G4 Plus. The camera on the Moto G4 Plus is better, which I am going to talk about in good points. And not only competition is better, but there is no compass sensor present on the Moto G4 Plus, which is a big deal for me or anyone who uses maps or Google Maps, because if you start using Google Maps, it will not show you the direction in which you are traveling, because it doesn't have compass. It will just track the location, and after moving a little bit, it will show you that you have moved from here to here, but it will not show you like this is north direction or this is east direction. It cannot show something like that, because physical hardware of compass is not present in Moto G4 Plus, which cannot be added with software update also. And the fifth point about the Moto G4 Plus is the battery life. Moto G3 had a very good battery life. I would say around 5 hours of screen on time was possible after few updates, whereas on the Moto G4 Plus, 4 hours of screen on time is like little tough for me with my moderate to heavy usage. Even if I try to use it lightly, it will go till 4 hours or 4 hours and 15 minutes maximum of that. It surely did not go to 5 hours of screen on time. Whereas the Samsung Galaxy J7 2016 can go up to 12 hours of screen on time, which is huge and almost thrice that of Moto G4. So the battery life on the Moto G4 Plus is not that good, but you can get through a day if you use it lightly. So all the Motorola fans, before you hit that dislike button, let's talk about the good points, because you are waiting for the good points. And obviously Moto G4 Plus is not like the worst device ever. it obviously has many good points, and for that matter I have 6 good points over here rather than 5 good points, because if there are good points I have to mention all of them. So let's start with the first good point, which is my favorite. 32 GB of internal storage, dual SIM card slot and a memory card slot, and all these things are separate. So you do not have something like hybrid SIM card slot in which you will have to sacrifice a SIM card slot for the memory card, or it is not like it has only 64 GB of onboard storage which cannot be expanded. You can expand it up to 128 GB with a memory card. And the next good point is the display on this device. 5.5-inch Full HD display. Even though they have shifted from 5 inches of screen to 5.5 inches, not bad I would say, because I am used to 5.5 inches, so I won't complain about that. But the display quality has surely improved a lot as compared to Moto G 3rd generation. Viewing angles are great, but the problem over here is also that the lowest brightness which is possible on the Moto G4 Plus is not that low, but this issue can be easily fixed with software update. And yes, viewing angles are great, colors are produced really well. Display gets 9.5 out of 10 from me on the Moto G4 Plus. So the next second point, good point about the Moto G4 Plus is the camera. If we talk about the competition which is present for the Moto G4 Plus, like Redmi Note 3, LE TV A11s, even the LE2 maybe, Moto G4 Plus has better front facing camera and the rear facing camera also. Rear facing camera is 16 megapixel camera which shoots very good pictures in my opinion, and the front facing camera is also good. When it comes to low light, both the cameras struggle, but that's completely okay considering 15,000 budget. And when we talk about under 15,000 rupees budget, ZUK Z1 and the OnePlus X are the only two phones which are almost same or better than Moto G4 Plus. Fourth good point about the Moto G4 Plus is the software. Stock Android, almost stock like Android. Few nifty but extremely helpful features are added by Motorola. Thumbs up to Motorola for that. And as we are talking about competition, I am completely sure that Android N will get released to Moto G4 first in all these devices. So that's a very good thing about Motorola devices, that you will get software updates very fast and very quickly. Even the RAM management is very good on this device. 3 GB of RAM is present, so obviously RAM management is going to be good. Yeah. Fourth point. One of the things that Moto G series did not have is the fingerprint sensor. Moto G4 Plus has a fingerprint sensor, and this fingerprint sensor is just not another fingerprint sensor which I have to talk about. This is an excellent, fabulous fingerprint sensor which unlocks the device almost 95 to 100% of the times. It's just great fingerprint sensor. So the sixth and the final good point about the Moto G4 Plus according to me is the charging time. It has turbocharger which can go up to 25 watts. Oh my god, that's a pretty high wattage, and I have already done a video on Quick Charge 2.0 versus turbocharging. You can check it out over here. And the Moto X Play also had turbocharger, but the turbocharger was not provided in the box, whereas Moto G4 Plus comes with a turbocharger inside the box, so you do not have to buy it separately. And that might be one of the reasons why it is costing 15,000 rupees or 14,500 rupees instead of 13,000 rupees, because that charger is around 1,000 to 1,500 rupees according to me. So yeah, that was pretty much it for the bad points of Moto G4 Plus and good points of Moto G4 Plus, and it's time for conclusion. So who should buy the Moto G4 Plus? Someone who doesn't use their phone that heavily and is not going to game on the device for 15 to 20 minutes, like heavy games I'm talking about, like Asphalt 8 or Modern Combat 5. Then Moto G4 Plus seems to be a good choice. And anytime when someone has to buy a phone for their father, mother or grandfather, people usually go for Moto phones. That is because it has stock Android which is easy to use. Phones do not lag over the period of time. So if you're planning to give it to your father or mother who is not going to use it that heavily, surely go ahead and give it. And who should not buy this device? So if you are someone from young generation and who doesn't care much about the brand name and want a perfectly good phone which will give excellent battery life, excellent performance, very good camera, then you may look elsewhere, because the performance on the Moto G4 Plus remains good, but it's not great. Redmi Note 3, ZUK Z1, LE TV A11s perform better than Moto G4 Plus. When it comes to battery life, all these other devices are surely better. And if you are worried about camera, Moto G4 Plus is a good choice. But OnePlus X and ZUK Z1 are also there. So for me, it's kind of tough to recommend you to buy Moto G4 Plus for the young generation. So yeah, this is pretty much it for this video guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. because many more reviews like this are going to come real soon on the channel. So don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button. And if you're wondering which router is it, so before you ask in comment section, let me tell you that this is the MI Wi-Fi router 3, which I have been testing for almost a month now. So yeah, bye. But it's time for my final opinion. So who should buy Redmi Note 3? Redmi Note 3. This is the review of Moto G4 Plus. Dumb. So yeah, this is pretty much it for my bad points. I this type of videos with and if you are worried about Chinese branding like Xiaomi is Chinese, ZUK is Chinese, LTV is Chinese, then surely go for Motorola. But let me tell you that Motorola is also a Chinese brand. It is owned by Lenovo, if you did not know that, because many times I see people commenting that Motorola is such a good brand, others are Chinese. Motorola is also a Chinese brand. Anyways, so that the end will be good, and so that the end bad points. So I have intro device, and as we are starting the Moto G series, which makes the device issue is like really a big, and so the second bad point about and not only does it get warm, but and not only does it get warm for their price. So LTV A11s costs just 10,000 rupees, 10,000.